Thank you, Serene. Good evening. So nice to have all of you here. Wow, full room. I think there are 365 of you here, which means I can have lunch with each and every one of you over the next 12 months. It's so wonderful to be back with you. It really is. Our supporters, our base, our inspiration. And you look fabulous. You look 3 years older than last time I saw you, but you look fabulous. We have longtime friends and many new friends with us tonight. Our dedicated Anera board members are with us. Chairman Joe Saba, Vice Chair Grace Tompkins. Would you and all of our board colleagues please stand and be applauded? We also have some staff members here from our program countries, Palestine, Lebanon, and Jordan. Country Director Samar Yassir and Senator Rashid. Would you and your colleagues please stand and be recognized? I want to thank our honorary hosts. I'd like to thank and welcome Senator Chris Van Hollen for being here, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Kuwaiti Ambassador Jassim Al-Badawi. Kuwait has been a good friend to Anera for many years. USAID Assistant Administrator Andy Plitt and U.S. State Department Deputy Assistant Secretary, my friend Hadi Amar and his wife Anis. Thank you all for making Anera your top stop tonight and for being by our side always. I ask you all to give a big thank you to our lead sponsors, the Dawood, Hamad, and Siam families, Michelle and Elias Habaya, Susan and Robert Trice, and the Oleon Group. We also thank all our generous benefactors, champions, stewards, and friends. Thank you all so much. You know, we sometimes run out of words strong enough to do justice to the injustices and the challenges in the countries where Anera works. But you hear some pretty powerful ones: apartheid, corruption, criminal negligence, forced migration, forced early childhood marriage, extreme poverty, currency plunge, runaway inflation, missiles and bombs. Still, the calamities and strains occurring and recurring over the past 3 years are speech-defying. And usually, though not often enough, death-defying. COVID, the Beirut blast, the 2 recent bombing campaigns on Gaza, the collapse of Lebanon's economy and institutions, the intensifying violence in the West Bank and Gaza, and the absence of talks or even any hope of long-term peace and Palestinian statehood. And around the world, 2 frequent climate disasters, disruptions in the supply chain, the cost of war in Ukraine, and global inflation add to the challenges endemic to our region. These are the broad front-page headlines of the crises and challenges. These are the seemingly never-ending downward spirals that make some people lose hope. They provoke talk of donor fatigue. Fatigue, ask the barely teenage girl now taking care of her husband's entire abusive family because her desperate parents felt compelled to choose marriage over education, how fatigued she is. Ask the parents whose children can't go to school, first because of COVID, and now because teachers' salaries aren't even enough to cover transportation, and so they all stay home. Ask the family I met who had to literally choose between buying food or buying medicine. Ask the youth whose hope for the future is the impossible dream of an immigrant visa, or the nightmare of a dream to be a martyr, or to join a desperate crowd of 150 smuggled onto a boat meant to carry far fewer. Ask the Palestinian farmer arrested trying to defend with only his own arms his farm against an Israeli settler's attack that broke his arms. Ask the tech worker who wants the same job in Palestine rather than rely on permits to work in Israel. Finally, ask the woman who decided that instead of selling her kidney, she would hold up a bank with what turned out to be a toy gun, not to rob the bank, but to get $13,000 of her own funds frozen in the bank out so that she could buy cancer medicine for her sister. How fatigued are they all? Fun, huh? Now let's talk about the hope you provide, how the Anera work you support combats much of this fatigue and desperation. Support from thousands of individuals and families from 77 countries, many institutional, governmental, and multilateral donors, including UNICEF, whom we honor tonight, USAID, and many others. This support is making positive long-term difference on the ground. It really is. Last year, Anera delivered $6 million worth of cancer medicines in Lebanon and Palestine, and this year, as the needs rise and government subsidies, and we expect to deliver over $30 million worth of cancer medicines. We distribute food and cash vouchers so that families don't have to make that horrible choice between food or medicine. We provide vocational training, cash for work, apprenticeships at bakeries, hospitals, steel mills, tailored to match market needs that convert into full-time, decent wage jobs. In Palestine, our Women Can program works with women who are now the family's main breadwinner to help turn their entrepreneurial ideas into businesses. They're raising livestock, they're selling handmade clothes, running restaurants, and opening beauty salons. In Lebanon, our Sama project, working with girls, their families, and the broader community, including their fathers and men in political positions, reminds us that with education instead of early marriage, the sky really is the limit. We're renovating sports centers. This shot is of the Gaza Sports Center. With support from USAID, we've been running for many years the Palestinian Community Infrastructure Development Program, and we've just completed renovation of the largest and oldest sports center in Palestine, which is in Gaza, and provides a place for thousands of youth. We're also increasing access to affordable and sustainable energy and water. We're installing solar panels on irrigation pumps, recycling centers, schools, hospitals, community centers, and we're providing water filtration systems usually run by those solar panels. This is livelihood building, life-saving, and we're doing more and more of this kind of work. Let us share another film.
The ecological challenges that our beautiful planet faces are overwhelming. For the people of the Middle East, the brunt of climate change and the resulting ecological disaster is acutely felt. For each of these communities, responding to these challenges requires commitments from governments, civil society, and international engagement to strengthen the investments in renewable resources and sustainable solutions. Traveling through Palestine's West Bank in village after village, there is tangible evidence of Anera's legacy of community-driven projects. Irrigation networks that reuse treated wastewater in Jenin and Ramallah, rain harvesting cisterns, farm-to-market roads, and terracing. You can see how we're advising families on home gardening, all because of your support. In Gaza, and now in the West Bank too, Anera provided rooftop gardens and family greenhouses are a lifeline, extending the growing season to year-round while providing more growing space and using less water. Infrastructure that connects families to reliable sewage systems and prevents flooding improves public health. Increasing the capacity of Gaza's stormwater basins helps replenish Gaza's aquifer. Anera provided solar technology powers desalination units and agricultural water pumps, all helping to conserve Gaza's scarce water resources and provide safe water for drinking and farming. In response to the Lebanese economic and waste crisis, we've exported agricultural technologies developed by Anera agronomists in Palestine to our programs in Lebanon. Hydroponic rooftop gardens and greenhouse farms are just some of the ways Anera is working with communities in Lebanon to sustainably improve food security and create jobs. Anera's solid waste management and recycling program is also cleaning up Lebanon's environment while supporting livelihoods and improving public health. Much as in Palestine, we are utilizing solar technology in Lebanon to support health clinics. And looking ahead, Anera is starting to work with refugee communities in Jordan on developing rooftop gardens and greenhouse farming. Some of the families we help do not have much more than the ground beneath their feet, and the air around them. But you, the Anera community, are providing them with the tools to make the most out of what they do have and to build dignified livelihoods for themselves. While political dynamics may appear stuck for many years, decades even, before a breakthrough, life and preparing for a future cannot wait. Managing these resources sustainably now will help ensure that future generations can enjoy the fruits of this soil and their land.
These films are done by our own staff, the videographer and the voiceover is our own staff. As you see, we're providing solutions, tools for tomorrow that create sustainability. Our solar panels on 20 health clinics in Lebanon kept those centers running when there's a acute energy crisis, and the cost of the installation will be recouped in just 2 years savings on fuel. And we're thinking bigger. We'd like to install solar on 96 community centers in the 12 Palestinian camps in Lebanon. And we're thinking too that if we could put solar on all the schools in Lebanon, then the donors now paying for generator fuel could divert that money to salaries for teachers, and 1 million Lebanese kids could get back into school. So to really scale and meet more need, we're also organizing ourselves with Anera Ventures to attract impact investments in our impactful work that can be repaid with interest by outcomes payers. Looking at you, USAID. Who will pay a premium for guaranteed outcomes. Then our donors can reinvest. So added to our large and generous base of charitable donors and grantees, this will be a game changer. This is how together we combat donor fatigue. Giving, as you know, releases endorphins. It gives you a boost of energy, a helper's high. Imagine how you'll feel if you give and you get back that feeling, plus impact. Plus, for those ready to co-invest with us, your money back with interest. Now, you may not be ready to invest $1 million now, that's fine. We want you to keep giving. We want you to keep giving at whatever level works. But our agronomist in Gaza says, when we see his wonderful rooftop gardens in Gaza, he says, I want to put one of these on every roof in Gaza. That's big. And every garden feeds an extended family and provides some very needed income. And you know what else it does? One of the Palestinian rooftop gardeners told us, you are bringing us back to the land. So if you're interested in getting involved, here's how you can help. Serene mentioned the $50,000 goal for tonight. There's a family, the Tarazi family, they were honored here. The last time we were all fully together. They couldn't be here tonight. They felt guilty. I like this kind of guilt. They're putting $10,000 up. If we reach our 50,000 goal tonight, they will have. I thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for listening.